What if I told you that the son of an Oscar-nominated filmmaker just took over the capital of the world? Not with a movie script, but with a Quran and a plan to tax the richest people on earth. New York City hasn't seen an earthquake like this in a century. This isn't just politics. It's a hostile takeover of the status quo. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see why the old guard is terrified of a 34-year-old former rapper who just moved into City Hall. New York City, January 1st, 2026. While most of the world was sleeping off their New Year's celebrations, a 34-year-old former housing counselor was making history in the dark. In a long-abandoned subway station deep beneath City Hall, Zohran Mamdani placed his hand on a centuries-old Quran and took the oath of office as the 112th mayor of New York. This wasn't just another inauguration. It was a total political reset. Mamdani is now the first Muslim, the first South Asian, and the first African-born leader to run the most famous city on earth. But for the people watching, the most shocking part isn't his background, it's his platform. Zohran Mamdani is a Democratic Socialist now running the world capital of finance. To understand how he got here, we have to look past the headlines and into a journey that started in Kampala, Uganda. Zohran was born in 1991 to two global icons. His father, Mahmoud Mamdani, a legendary academic who studies how states fall apart, and his mother, Mira Nair, an Oscar-nominated filmmaker who tells stories of people caught between worlds. After moving to New York at age 7, Zohran lived a life of relative privilege, attending top-tier schools like Bronx Science. But instead of joining the corporate elite, he spent his 20s in the trenches of Queens. As a foreclosure prevention counselor, his daily job was helping low-income families fight off eviction. He spent years in living rooms across the city, watching banks prioritize numbers over human beings. That was his real political education. He realized that the housing crisis wasn't an accident. It was a choice. And he decided to choose differently. Before he entered politics, Zohran tried to process these frustrations through art, performing as a rapper under the name Young Cardamom. But the mic wasn't enough. In 2020, he ran for the New York State Assembly in Astoria. He didn't take corporate money, he didn't use a polished teleprompter, and he didn't moderate his message. He talked about scary ideas, taking over utility companies and making housing a human right. Against all odds, he won. In Albany, he became a professional disruptor. He joined hunger strikes with taxi drivers and fought for fare-free buses. He wasn't just a politician, he was an organizer. By the time the 2025 mayoral race rolled around, the establishment didn't take him seriously. They thought a young socialist couldn't possibly beat heavyweights like former Governor Andrew Cuomo. But Mamdani did the math. He leaned into his identity and a single powerful message: affordability. He promised a citywide rent freeze, free universal childcare, and a $30 minimum wage by 2030. He argued that if New York can afford a $1 billion police budget, it can afford to make sure its workers aren't living in their cars. In an upset that stunned the nation, he defeated Cuomo in the primary and cruised to victory in the general election. Now, the radical mayor is in the hot seat. Just hours into his term, he signed executive orders establishing an Office of Mass Engagement to give 74,000 job applicants a direct line to City Hall. He's governing a city with a budget larger than many countries, and he wants to tax the millionaires on Billionaires Row to pay for it all. He's proposing a 2% equality tax on the city's 34,000 households earning over $1 million, a move estimated to generate $4 billion alone. Critics are already warning of a wealth exodus, claiming that if he pushes too hard, the capital will simply vanish into the suburbs. But Mamdani's bet is different. He believes a city that belongs to the 8.5 million people who actually work in it is more stable than a city that serves only the few. He's replacing police officers with civilian mental health workers for crisis calls and opening city-run grocery stores to kill food deserts. Zohran Mamdani is the first mayor in generations who isn't looking at a future run for president. He's an immigrant who can't legally hold that office, which means his only focus is the 5 boroughs. New York is officially in uncharted territory. Whether you see him as a hero for the working class or a risk to the city's economy, one thing is undeniable. Zohran Mamdani just changed the rules of the game forever. Now I want to hear from you. In a city full of billionaires and skyscrapers, what's the best thing you guys like about Zohran Mamdani? Is it his radical policies? Or is it that infectious, confident smile that seems to say the revolution is just getting started? Drop your thoughts in the comments.